Hello everyone. Today let us learn about chapter number 1 for class 8 science, and the name of the chapter is crop production and management. We have already learned that all living beings require food, and we have also learned that plants can synthesize their own food, right? But animals depend on plants and some other animals for their food, including human, isn't it? So we human beings, we cannot prepare our own food. We have to depend on certain plants and animals for our food. But why do we need this food? We know that food provides us energy, right? And this energy is utilized by our body to function various body functions inside our body. But can we easily get all the food from our surrounding? No, isn't it? So in order to provide the needs for the growing population, we need proper food production, management and distribution of the food. So in this chapter, we are going to learn how this food production, the management of the food, and how the distribution of the food is done. So let us learn the various processes which are contained in the chapter. As the human population is increasing day by day, crop, that means food, has to be produced on a large scale in order to provide for the need for us, isn't it? So till the 10,000 BC, that means in the olden days, people, they used to travel, that means they were nomadic, means they used to travel from place to place in search of food and shelter. So they used to eat the raw foods and the raw vegetables found anywhere. Understood? So this human being, okay, this human being, they found out that such kind of practices, that means going here and there and searching for food, has become a tiresome job. So they thought of planting crops. They thought of planting this food, okay, this food plant on a large scale. And thus the practice of agriculture started. So agriculture is the practice of growing crops on a large scale for food and for other purposes. That means the food, the plants, okay, which are grown, some of them will be used for our food, and some of them may be used for some other purposes. Like for example, when we grow cotton plant, we cannot eat cotton, right? So this cotton plant, we have to make our clothes. They are used for making our clothes. So such plants, when they are planted on a large scale for food or for some other purpose, then we term it as agriculture. So people, they started off planting plants on a very large scale in order to provide the need for us, and thus the practice of agriculture came alive into human civilization. Understood? So now this practice of growing crops on a large scale for food and for other purpose, we call it agriculture. And these crops which we are growing, the food which we are growing, we normally classify them into food. So these plants, when they are grown on a large scale in a particular area during a particular time, we term it as crops. So when we plant so many plants on a very large scale in a particular area in a certain interval of time, then those are called as crops. And crops are of different types, okay? So based on the type of season they are grown, crops can be classified into two types. They are Kharif crops and the Rabi crops. So these Kharif crops, they are grown in the rainy season. Most of the crops which are grown in the rainy season, they are known as Kharif crops. And normally in India, the rainy season falls during the month of June to September or early October. Right? Some of the example of Kharif crops include rice, the maize, the soybean, and the groundnut. So crops that are grown during the rainy season, we term it as Kharif crops. Got it? And those crops which are grown in the winter season, mostly during the cold season, they are known as Rabi crops. And mostly the crops grown in the winter season falls during the month of October to March or the early April. Understood? And some of the example of Rabi crops includes wheat, gram, peas, mustard. You know all those plants which we eat during the winter season. Understood? So these are the two types of crops mostly grown in our country, and they are classified according to the type of season they are cultivated. Got it? The cultivation of crops includes various steps. Okay, various activities are to be done in order to make the crops grow properly and then yield a high variety of food product. Okay, so now the various steps which are included in agriculture are: number one, preparation of soil. Then number two is sowing. Then the third one is adding manure and fertilizers. Fourth one is irrigation. Fifth is protection from weeds. And the sixth step is harvesting. And the last final step is storage. So these are the various steps which are included in the cultivation of crops. So we are going to learn it one by one in detail. So number one, the first one, that is preparation of soil. Preparation of soil is the first step in the process of agriculture. Before planting any plant or any crop in a field, you need to first prepare the soil. So that the preparation of the soil means you have to turn the soil and make it loosen up. Okay, so this preparation of soil makes the roots of the plants to penetrate through the soil and get the essential nutrients from the soil. Understood? Then the loosening of the soil also helps some of the various microbes and certain animals like the earthworms to increase their growth. Okay, and this helps the soil to produce their own manure, that means humus. Okay, humus which makes the soil very fertile. So loosening of the soil is very important, and when you do so, this increases the manure, the fertility of the soil. Understood? Then how we have to loosen and how we have to turn on the soil. This is done by various tools, various implements. Okay, and the steps for making the soil loosen up and turning on is done with the help of a plough. Okay, so ploughing, it is done with the help of tools or various implements. Ploughing is a process of turning on the soil and then making it loosen up. If the soil is very dry, then first of all, water is also added to the soil so that we can easily turn and loose it. Okay, and once you turn it on and loose it, at the same time you can add some manures to increase the fertility of the soil. So ploughing, when you plough the soil, you're going to turn the soil on and then you're going to loosen it, and in this process of ploughing you can add some water or some manures so that the fertility of the soil increases, and these all are to be done before sowing. Okay, it is very necessary for us to break the soil and make the soil loosen up and to increase the size of the soil to the grains before sowing. And how are these done? These are done by various agricultural implements. Okay, so we cannot do with our hand. So we have to use certain implements in order to loosen the soil and make it into the size of the grain, so that the roots of the plants can penetrate through it and also increase the fertility of the soil. So some of the implements are plough, the hoe, the leveler, and the cultivator. Plough, we have been using the plough from ancient times. It is specially made of wood and iron, okay, and it is such that the plough, it has got some wooden structure which will dig the ground, dig the soil, and it will break the soil into smaller parts, making it loosen up, okay. And these are done with the help of cows or buffaloes. They are going to pull it, and it has a certain shapes, a rectangular shape, which will be put on the head of the cow or the buffaloes, and they will be pulling it, and this helps in loosening the soil. Then hoe, it is a wooden tool, okay, or it can also be made of iron also, and this helps to separate the weeds. And the leveler, it is for leveling the soil, okay. Before sowing, the soil has to be leveled properly so that the crops, they grow in a proper manner. So it is done by leveler. And last of all is the cultivator. Cultivator, nowadays mostly we use tractors for cultivator or cultivation, okay. And this cultivator especially saves time and labor. So these tools helps in loosening the soil and making the soil in a proper way to start cultivation of the crops, okay. After the preparation of the soil, the second step which will be done for the cultivation of a crop is sowing. Sowing is the process of placing the seed to be grown on the soil, okay. So you're going to place the seed which you are going to grow on the field. So you're going to place it in the soil in a proper manner. Understood? And the seeds which are to be used for sowing should be of good quality, so that it will give a good yield of the crops. So when you use good quality seed, the plants will grow properly, and so also at the same time it will give proper yield. That means it will give good fruits, isn't it? So the seed should be of very good quality. Got it? And sowing of the seed is done in two ways. One, it can be done in a traditional way, or one, it can be done with the help of a tool called the seed drill. So using this traditional way, or either the seed drill, you are going to sow the seed, place the seed on the soil just after the preparation of the soil. Understood? So sowing is the second step which you are going to do for the process of agriculture when you are about to start cultivation of a crop. So sowing of the seeds in a traditional way has been carrying on from ancient times, okay, since the start of agriculture. And this seed drill is an implement used for sowing the seed. So when you use the seed drill, it will sow the seed uniformly in a proper distance, and when the crops start growing, it will grow uniformly in a proper distance. And space is also very much required when you sow the seed. If you do not sow the seed in a proper distance, then all the plants will grow up together in one place, and they won't get proper space, and the food which we supply for the plant, okay, when they start using up the food which are there in the soil, the plants won't get enough food if they are not planted in a proper distance. So space is very much essential in order to make the plants grow properly. Understood? And using of the seed drills will save our time also, and it will save our energy also. And using the seed drills also make the plants grow properly in a uniform way and in a proper distance. Got it?